First, let's be perfectly clear. When we use the word crazy in this context, we are not using it as an insult, a dismissal, or a label for someone's character. That would be disrespectful and unhelpful. We're using it as a simple, if imperfect shorthand for a very real psychological experience that happens to all of us: emotional unpredictability and emotional overload. First, let's be perfectly clear. When we use the word crazy in this context, we are not using it as an insult, a dismissal, or a label for someone's character. That would be disrespectful and unhelpful. We're using it as a simple, if imperfect shorthand for a very real psychological experience that happens to all of us: emotional unpredictability and emotional overload. Think of it this way. Sometimes, due to stress, past experiences, fear, or just a bad day, a person's emotional system can become overwhelmed. Their feelings can become intense, shifting rapidly and difficult for even them to predict or articulate in the moment. This isn't about being broken or irrational at their core. It's about a temporary state where logic and calm communication are offline because the emotional brain has taken over. It's a human experience, not a flaw. From a psychological standpoint, this is often a sign of a nervous system in a state of high alert, fight, flight, or freeze. The person isn't trying to be difficult. They are, in that moment, responding to a perceived threat or a flood of stimuli. Your job in that moment is not to diagnose, argue with, or mirror that state. Your role is to be the stable ground. The goal is to provide safety and trust by not adding more fuel to the fire. When you respond with calm, when you don't take the emotional turbulence personally, and when you give space instead of demanding instant clarity, you are doing something profoundly respectful. You are giving their nervous system the signal it needs to de-escalate. You are saying, through your actions, this space is safe. You can feel this without it causing chaos. This approach builds retention, not of drama, but of genuine connection, because it proves you are a person who can handle real human complexity with patience, not panic. You become a harbor, not another storm. If you've ever tried to connect with someone by being endlessly supportive, agreeing with everything they say, constantly reassuring them, always being the good one, you've probably felt a strange disconnect. You're putting in all this emotional work, being kind, being understanding, and yet the connection doesn't seem to get deeper. It might even feel like it's fading. This is deeply confusing, because everything in us says that being supportive should bring people closer. So, let's ask the uncomfortable question. What if the very act of over-validating, of constantly smoothing over every emotional wave, is what's quietly draining the attraction from a dynamic? This isn't about blame. It's about a simple misunderstanding of how human psychology and connection actually work. Let's break this down into two simple ideas. The first is emotional regulation. Think of your emotional state like the weather in a room you're both sharing. If your weather is always perfectly sunny and calm, no matter what storm the other person is bringing in, something starts to feel off. It doesn't feel real. A person who is emotionally regulated isn't a robot. They have feelings. The difference is, they can feel an emotion without being completely overwhelmed by it. They can listen to your frustration without immediately panicking to fix it. They can sit with your sadness without collapsing into it themselves. This calm presence is subconsciously powerful. It signals safety. It says, I can handle your reality, and you can handle mine. It makes you a stable harbor, not just another wave in their ocean. Now, this links directly to the second idea, predictability. Our brains are prediction machines. They love efficiency. When you constantly validate and agree, you become 100% predictable. Your responses are guaranteed, and the brain, in its quest to save energy, starts to file you under background information. It stops actively paying attention. There's no need to. You've become emotional wallpaper. Pleasant, consistent, but ultimately part of the scenery, not the focal point. True engagement, the kind that fuels attraction, requires a little bit of gentle, respectful unpredictability. Not chaos, but the authentic unpredictability of a real person with their own inner world. This brings us to a core principle often misunderstood: polarity. This isn't about gender, it's about energy. Think of it like a magnet. A magnet has a positive and a negative pole. It's the difference between these poles that creates the magnetic pull. If you have two identical poles, they just sit there. They repel. In human dynamics, polarity is the natural, healthy tension created by two people who are distinctly themselves. You have your center of gravity, they have theirs. You have your opinions, your moods, your rhythms. Over-validating erases your pole. You become a mirror, reflecting only them. You merge with their emotional field. And when you do that, the magnetic pull disappears. There's no difference to create the attraction. This is why always saying yes, always having the same opinion, always being available feels so strangely flat. It's not building connection. It's erasing the very contrast that makes connection dynamic and interesting. So, what's the alternative? It's not about becoming disagreeable or cold. The shift is from trying to be a perfect mirror to becoming a steady anchor. A mirror only shows the other person themselves. An anchor provides stability from its own place. It means listening to understand, not just to agree. It means sometimes saying, I hear you and I see it differently. It means having the inner security to not need their constant approval, which paradoxically makes your validation, when you do give it, infinitely more meaningful and authentic. You stop managing their emotions and start regulating your own. This creates space for them to miss you, to wonder about you, to actually come toward you. The attraction isn't to your agreement, it's to your wholeness. It's drawn to the calm, grounded presence of someone who isn't afraid to occupy their own space in the world. When you stop over-validating, you're not withdrawing care. You're upgrading it from a tactic of fusion to a gift of presence. And that is the foundation of every connection that is real, resilient, and truly magnetic. Let's picture a common situation. It's an ordinary weeknight. She comes home from work, visibly drained. She drops her bag by the door, lets out a sigh, and says something like, "My project lead is micromanaging everything. I just spent the whole day feeling undermined." Now in his mind, the man hears two things. First, the problem, the micromanaging boss. And second, a silent alarm. She's upset. The mood is tense. I need to fix this. This is the pivotal moment. His intention is pure. He wants to help, to make her feel better. But his strategy is where the unseen shift begins. Instead of simply being with her in that feeling, his brain shifts into solution mode. He starts problem solving. Okay, have you tried talking to HR? He might say. Or, what you should do is document every interaction. Maybe he offers, just tune them out and focus on your part. He's being logical, proactive, and helpful. But watch what happens. With each proposed solution, something subtle occurs. She wasn't presenting a business case for him to solve. She was sharing an emotional experience. His solutions, however well-intentioned, unintentionally communicate, your feeling is a problem to be solved, and quickly, so we can get back to normal. She might offer a weak, yeah, maybe, but then feel the need to explain why that won't work, pulling her deeper into the frustration she was trying to vent out. Or she might just go quiet, saying, never mind, and shut down. He's left confused. He tried to help. Why is she more distant now? This is the slow death of attraction. It doesn't die with an argument. It evaporates in these small, repeated moments. Here's why. It creates a parent-child dynamic. He becomes the fixer, the sage. She becomes the person with the problem. This isn't a dynamic between equals. It's a dynamic of dependency. Attraction thrives on equality, on two capable adults choosing each other. It skips the connection to go straight to the resolution. By jumping to the fix, he skips the vital step of emotional attunement, the I'm with you in this. He's on the other side of the problem, waving a blueprint, while she's still stuck in the feeling. They are no longer side by side. They are facing each other with an issue between them. It makes her feel unseen. The underlying message she receives is, your emotional state is uncomfortable for me, and I need to change it. Her need to be heard and understood is subtly invalidated. Over time, she learns to take her emotional experiences elsewhere, to a friend, a journal, or inside herself, because sharing them here doesn't lead to connection, it leads to a lecture. Now, let's replay that moment with a different response. One of grounded presence. She says, my project lead is micromanaging everything. I just spent the whole day feeling undermined. He takes a breath, stays in his own calm. He doesn't reach for a fix. Instead, he holds space. He might say, "That sounds incredibly frustrating. To put in your effort and feel like it's not trusted." Or simply, "Come sit down. That's a lot for one day." He's not fixing. He's witnessing. He's offering a calm harbor for her storm. He's regulating his own need for the tension to disappear, which allows her the safety to actually feel and release her emotion. In this space, something magnetic happens. She feels heard. She feels like her partner is a source of stability, not another source of unsolicited advice. The tension dissipates, not because he solved her work problem, but because he connected with her. He becomes her peace, not her mechanic. And that feeling of being with someone who provides safety simply by being steady is where real, lasting attraction is not just maintained, but deepened. The attraction isn't to the person who has all the answers. It's to the person who provides a profound sense of home in your shared emotional world. We've all heard that piece of advice, often said in frustration. Just treat her like she's crazy. It's terrible advice. It's dismissive, it's reductive, and it comes from a place of seeing someone's emotions as a problem to be managed or ignored. But if we strip away the immaturity and the blame, there's a hidden core to that phrase that points to a much higher, more mature skill set. It's not about treating someone as if they're irrational. It's about you refusing to become irrational yourself. It's about maintaining your own center so firmly that you don't get pulled into emotional chaos, and in doing so, you actually become a source of stability. Let's reframe this into 3 clear, healthy, and powerful behaviors. First, don't react emotionally. Become emotionally non-reactive. When someone is upset, anxious, or distant, our primal instinct is to match their energy. If they're hot, we get hot. If they're cold, we panic and try to turn up the heat. This is a reaction. It adds fuel to the fire. The mature behavior is to practice being non-reactive. This means you notice the emotional charge, you acknowledge it, but you don't let it hijack your nervous system. You don't fire back with equal intensity. You might say to yourself, "This is their emotional weather right now. I don't need to make it my storm." By not reacting, you stop the emotional escalation. You become the calm in the chaos, not another part of it. This isn't indifference, it's emotional strength. Second, don't chase emotional clarity. Let the dust settle. In the middle of an emotional moment, there is often no clear, logical why that will satisfy you. The brain is flooded. Trying to force an explanation, "Just tell me what's wrong," is like demanding a clear blueprint from someone who's in the middle of an earthquake. It only creates more pressure. The mature behavior is to let the dust settle. You offer a simple, grounding presence. "It seems like you're having a tough time. I'm here." Then you give it space. You allow the emotional wave to pass. Clarity almost always comes after the emotion has peaked, not during it. By not chasing it, you demonstrate patience and respect for their process. You communicate that you trust them to find their own clarity, and that you're a safe place for them to land when they do. Third, stay calm and centered, anchoring your own worth. This is the foundation. Staying calm isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about being so rooted in your own sense of worth and stability that another person's temporary state doesn't threaten it. Their mood is not a verdict on your value. The mature behavior is to anchor in your own completeness. You know you are okay, whether they are happy, sad, or distant in this moment. This inner security allows you to listen without needing to control, to be present without needing to fix, and to offer support without needing a specific outcome. When you are anchored, you stop looking to them to regulate your emotions. You become a self-sufficient pillar, and that is profoundly attractive and safe. So the mindset shift is this. You are not managing someone else's craziness. You are mastering your own stability. Your new goal in moments of tension is not to win an argument or get them to calm down. Your goal is to be the person who remains unshaken. This transforms the entire dynamic. Instead of 2 unstable energies colliding, you have 1 stable point of reference. This does something powerful. It often gives the other person the unconscious permission to calm down. They can borrow your stability. They can land against your calm. It also gives you immense clarity. When you are not emotionally reactive, you can see the situation for what it actually is, not through the fog of your own panic. You stop taking things personally that aren't personal. You stop assigning meanings that aren't there. This is the opposite of manipulation. Manipulation seeks a specific reaction. This practice is about integrity. It's saying, no matter what emotional weather you bring, I will remain in command of my own ship. And that command, that quiet, unwavering center, is the most reliable compass for any relationship. It doesn't guarantee they'll always be happy, but it guarantees you'll never lose yourself. And that is the foundation for everything that is real, resilient, and truly respectful. So where does this leave us? It leaves us not with a set of techniques, but with a single, quiet center. The most powerful thing a man can offer isn't found in grand gestures or perfect solutions. It's found in the quality of his presence. It's the ability to hold a steady gaze when the room is spinning. It's the strength to not mistake every storm for a personal emergency. It's the profound discipline of meeting high emotion with deep calm. This calm isn't emptiness. It's the opposite. It is the final form of self-respect. It is the decision that your inner peace is not negotiable, that your worth is not up for debate by every passing mood or moment of tension. It is the understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup, and the first person you must learn to be generous with is yourself. You protect your energy. You honor your boundaries, not as walls against the world, but as the sacred architecture of your own integrity. This is the anchor. Emotional stability is not about feeling nothing. It is about feeling everything and still choosing to stand firm. It is knowing that you can be moved, but you cannot be overturned. When you cultivate this, something shifts. You stop seeking permission. You stop chasing validation. You stop needing to be seen as the hero who fixes everything. And you simply become the man who cannot be shaken. And in that unshakable calm, you create a space where real trust can grow, where attraction isn't a frantic spark, but a slow, steady burn, where another person doesn't find a mirror for their chaos, but a harbor for their humanity. Because the loudest statement you will ever make